Computer Programming for Kids, Step 14. More preparation or groundwork for reading CSV files into our app. I hate to keep leading you on, but there is still a bit of preliminary work to be done before we get down to the nitty-gritty business of reading the files. The good news is that we are now pretty much set up and ready to read the CSV files that we created earlier. After we do that, we will need to refactor some of the code to handle these other files and the new method of processing them, where there is only one right answer as opposed to the selection the user made in our first multiple choice questions being simply their opinion or preference. Also, we will need to add a control or two to the form to handle this new functionality. In fact, we will do that part of it first. From the toolbox, drop a combo box onto the form, the Form1.cs Designer tab, and an Open File dialog. Put the combo box control anywhere on the form for now. The Open File dialog component is not visible at runtime, and so will move itself out of the way and off the form to a separate section below the form. To locate the Open File dialog component in the toolbox, expand the Dialogs section of the toolbox. The Dialog section is rectangled and the Open File dialog component is highlighted in the screenshot below. And of course, in the newsletter, a screenshot is shown as described. When you drag the Open File dialog onto the form, the Open File dialog will place itself in the lower left corner as shown below. And then there's a screenshot showing that. You can keep the name Open File Dialog 1 if you like, as we will only have one Open File Dialog, and so it won't be confusing for it to retain that generic name. As to the combo box, though, even though we also may only end up with one of these, you never know. So go ahead and change its name to Combo Box Select Multi-Choice File. And Combo Box in this is usually abbreviated as CMBX when you're naming the component in code. You can either give Combo Box's text property the value select a file, or you can drop a label next to it and give the label that same or similar caption, select a file. But where to put the combo box? Our form is pretty cluttered up with stuff already. We could either make the form larger, or we could scrunch up some of the stuff, controls on the form. Let's do the latter, at least for now. Follow these steps. 1. Select the label at the top of the form that's already there. 2. Drag it down a little bit, as far as you can. Get it close to the group box without obscuring the text of the label. 3. Drag the combo box above that label, lining it up against the upper left corner of the form as shown below. Or put the new label there, if you opted to add another label, and put the combo box just to the right of that. A screenshot is shown with the combo box in the upper left corner, bearing the text select a file. Now we will get ready to add the code that will open up whichever file you select from the combo box at runtime. Follow these steps now. 1. Select the combo box. 2. Select the events icon. Remember, that's the lightning bolt on the properties pane in Visual Studio. 3. Double-click in the blank area to the right of the selected index changed event. That will open up the code file, form1.cs, with the event handler code block ready for you to add the code necessary to do what we want to do when the user selects an item from the list. Here is where we will open the file selected and then update the form with the appropriate question and candidate answers. But wait a minute. We need to take a step back. We're getting ahead of ourselves again. How will the combo box know which files to populate itself with? It won't. We have to tell it. So first, we will do that by following these steps. 1. Find the drop-down event within the behavior category of the combo box in the events portion of the properties pane. 2. Double-click the blank portion to the right to go to the code writing area in form1.cs. The code we put here will run when the combo box is dropped down by the user clicking on it. The combo box dropping down is an event in programming terms. Events are often responded to by means of writing code. So this event happens, and you write code that will run when that event takes place. 3. Add the following code there between the curly braces of the combo box select multi-choice file underscore drop down event handler. And then it shows the code that you will need to write for this situation. In the newsletter, you'll see it. What's happening here line by line in plain English is line 1, the path to the folder that holds our CSV file is assigned to a string variable named path to search. Note, string is a very common data type, perhaps as common, if not more so, than int. In fact, a string is a string of characters, like a string of pearls or turtles, but of characters instead of pearls or turtles. By characters, I don't mean Batman, Catwoman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or even your Uncle Biff. The characters referred to are alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric and beyond, actually. Alphanumeric means letters of the alphabet, that's the alpha part of the word, as well as numbers, that's the numeric part of the word, possibly combined with both letters and numbers in the same string. But you can also assign symbols other than letters of the alphabet and integers to a string. You can see then that strings are very powerful and handy data types. Punctuation, math symbols, accent marks, etc. can all be stored within a variable of the string data type. Line 2, the if statement makes sure that the same values, the names of the files, are not added to the combo box's list of items multiple times. It only populates the list once. So if it has items in it already, items.count will not be 0 and the following code won't run, which is what we want. We don't want it to run again if it's already been populated. We only want the combo box to populate once with the items, with the file names. Note, populate is the common programming term for load into. So when we populate the combo box with items, file names in this case, we are loading items into the combo box. So when you eat chocolate chip cookies, a coder or a programmer might observe that you are populating your mouth or your belly or both with cookies. Line 3. We're not counting the curly braces as lines, so we'll skip the left curly brace here and the following right curly brace. This line of code assigns to the combo box's items the results of a call to a new method named getFileName. GetFileNames, rather. Note that getFileNames passes the string variable path to search as an argument or a parameter. Might be a better word for it. Both are used, but argument sounds kind of argumentative. But Visual Studio is not happy with the getFileNames method. This is because we haven't written it yet, and it doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know what in blue blazes we're referring to. We could create the method manually, but we may as well take advantage of the help Visual Studio offers us to get a head start on this. What help? We will take up with that in the next exciting episode or edition of Computer Programming for Kids. Or, that is, in the next step in our journey, number 15. See you then.